Hi there, welcome to what's happening in Brazil. We begin with the latest news about the ongoing electoral campaign in the country.
The third week of the electoral campaign in Brazil begins and the political dispute heats up. The first televised debate with 6 presidential candidates was held on Sunday, August 28. Once again, the current president, Jair Bolsonaro, used this space to spread disinformation. In his speeches, he told at least 7 lies, both about data related to his administration and about his main opponent, former President Lula da Silva. The themes of the day were corruption, pandemic, and women's rights, issued raised after Bolsonaro insulted one of women journalists present. After the debate, Bolsonaro's campaign coordinator suspended his interviews and suggests that the president and candidate for re-election not participate in other electoral debates. The fake news was not limited to Sunday's debate. During the last week, the Superior Electoral Court ruled the immediate suspension of an audio and another publication that lie by associating Lula with corruption schemes and the attack on Bolsonaro during the 2018 campaign. In 2019, the Supreme Court created a special section to combat disinformation due to the weight of fake news during the last general elections. A journalistic investigation showed that almost $3 million were spent by businessmen to finance networks that spread fake news on message services, such as WhatsApp, in favor of Bolsonaro. Now in August, the federal police executed 8 search warrants at the homes of Bolsonaro's businessmen after publicizing messages from them supporting a coup d'etat in case Bolsonaro lost at the polls. Tension and uncertainty regarding the military also increases. In these elections, there was an increment of 27% of the military candidacies, representing a total of 223 candidates, more than 90% of whom run for right-wing parties. Also in August, the armed forces carried out an exercise in the center-west of the country, simulating a supposed cyber attack promoted by a group of proletarian ideals that claimed the demarcation of indigenous lands. The outcome of the operation was a military intervention in the Pantanal, a border region with Bolivia and Peru. With the liberalization of the carrying of guns during the Bolsonaro administration, today close to 1 million civilians have access to firearms. Eyes on the political situation in Brazil until the October 2 election.
The Brazilian Agricultural Research Corporation, known as EMBRAPA, is a state company working on researching and developing technologies aimed at farming producers. However, the company's workers and parliamentarians complain that EMBRAPA is being used to benefit big agribusiness companies.
Founded in 1973, almost 50 years ago, the Brazilian Agricultural Research Corporation is under reformulation. According to workers, the state company has been diverted from some of its main missions to contribute to the food security of Brazilians and transfer technologies and know-how to family farming. A recent approach with big agribusiness companies culminated in the Transform EMBRAPA project, implemented this year.
In the past, the corporation's board of directors had workers responsible to maintaining communication between EMBRAPA and society. Today, there is only the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Economy. It ends up limiting the companies to one area. It should primarily focus on trade balance products and agriculture commodities.
Headed by the president of EMBRAPA, Celso Moretti, and under the coordination of Teresa Cristina, a set of changes started to be implemented in the corporation's organizational chart. Teams based in Brasília, Brazil's capital city, were completely rearranged and even a business board was created. Opposing parliamentarians such as Senator Jean Paul Prates and Federal Deputy Erika Cocai also spoke up about the changes. They complained about private companies taking technologies and know-how developed by EMBRAPA. The politicians also pointed out a possible conflict of interest regarding the funding of the consultancy service hired.
What is the interest of the National Confederation of Agriculture, for example, in donating 950,000 reais to hire a consultancy company to assess EMBRAPA? A private resource is coming in to finance a project that, in the end, will benefit those entities that are currently behind this financing.
We tried to contact EMBRAPA to ask about the alleged benefits to big commodity producers, but got no reply.
In the city of São Paulo, excavations for the construction of a new subway line revealed an archaeological treasure, objects that belong to a quilombo located in the neighborhood known as Bixiga.
Se você ficar ali na Paulista ali,
if you stop at the middle of Paulista Avenue, at the middle of Brigadier General Luiz Antônio Avenue, it climbs up and down, right? Quilombo was located in that area so that people could protect themselves from those coming from either direction. It was all Saracura Quilombo. It was there that black people in the Bixiga neighborhood started to live.
A story that, for a long time, was only a memory. Then a Saracura Quilombo archeological site was found during the construction of a future subway station.
Bixiga era território negro, território quilombola.
Bixiga was a black territory, a quilombola territory, and it is still a black territory today. And since these findings were discovered, the community and black movements have organized themselves to demand the preservation of these findings, their maintenance here with the participation of the community in the heritage education process.
Não é que nós não queremos o metrô, né?
It is not that we don't want a subway. However, we demand a museum to be built to display what was found here so that it can serve as a reference for the new generations.
Until the 20th century, Bixiga was known as Little Africa, but later it started to be associated with Italian immigrants. The construction of Paulista Avenue, starting in 1891, and the subsequent construction of the Minhocão Elevated Highway in the 70s are responsible for the large displacements of Quilombo Saracura residents. The population ended up occupying what is now the region known as Cidade Tiradentes, in the far east of the city of São Paulo. This district has one of the city's lowest human development index.
Many people were expelled from buildings and jobs. This part of the city was becoming whiter, so black people left the place. But I was born here. I have never left Bixiga. I would like to see the black population return to this area.
Rice is an ingredient that is part of a Brazilian lunch and dinner meals. In today's recipe, it will be prepared in a different way, in a sweet version.
Today I will prepare a special snack, rice porridge, which I will serve with chopped fruits and a bit of cane molasses or honey. I'll start by mixing water and rice in the blender to crush the rice quickly. Crush the rice softly by pouring water into the blender. Cook the crushed rice with milk and a pinch of salt. An important tip for this recipe is to cook the rice well, preventing it from being al dente, because after rice cools, it hardens, so it needs to be a bit overcooked so that after it cools, it will be al dente just the way we want it to be. It is similar to rice pudding, but faster to make. It is practically rice cooked in milk. The rice is already cooked and the milk has already thickened and turned into porridge. Now I'll add sugar so that the rice doesn't harden. It is only at that moment that I'll add sugar. And you can also prepare this recipe without sugar. In this case, the sweetness of this dish will come from the fruits and honey or molasses you will add on top. Put the porridge in pots and put it in the refrigerator. To serve, add chopped fruits.
Did you like the show? So hit the like button and share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive notifications. We'll see you next week.